Here is the LEGO Shopping Street, the latest set of the Modular Buildings collection, a release that fans of LEGO eagerly wait for every year with the highest levels of expectations. So, does it deliver? Let's talk about it, and thank you LEGO for sending it for review. For starters, the box shape caught my eye. They're usually horizontally oriented for these releases, whereas Shopping Street's box is vertical. Not that it matters much, but it did feel weird. The BI briefly goes over the technical challenges of designing this particular one, and then gives a bit of context to the storytelling aspects of the set, funny stories and details that are always fun to look out for in modular buildings. As you can kinda tell by the design, this one is composed of two different buildings connected over the alleyway, a music shop on the left and a furniture store on the right, which helps to make sense of the minifigure lineup, 7 characters in total. For the first time in the Modular Buildings collection, we have twins in the form of these two girls wearing their marching band uniforms and going into the instrument shop with their mom to buy their instruments. To complete the outfit, there's the marching band hat, an interesting printed hat element with the crest that's been used before in the Town Hall modular building. Their mom injured herself recently, so she's using a cane, which is a relatively new element, at least to me. This guy here is the music shop owner with the classy outfit. This lady is the carpenter and owner of the furniture shop. This one is her apprentice and the one who delivers chairs across town with this cart side build of the set. And finally, there's a plumber that plays a major role into the storytelling part of the product. Nothing too crazy when it comes to the minifigure selection, though I guess the highlight has got to be the pair of marching band outfits, kinda inviting people into buying several copies of these to make a decently sized marching band. When it comes to the buildings themselves, I think this one sets itself apart from most of the collection due to its angular shapes. We've kinda seen a similar type of configuration with the Boutique Hotel a few years ago, and the Tudor Corner last year had a bit of an angle on the first floor's pub area, but this thing doubles down on all of that, which I personally really like. The floor configuration is all sorts of crazy, as shown to me by the model designer of the set, which made for a super interesting building experience. Visually speaking, when placing these next to other flat facade modular buildings, the Shopping Street set makes the street look incredibly more interesting wherever you decide to place these next to. I kinda like seeing these with the Tudor Corner on its right side, as the alleyway, the two-floor furniture store, and the narrow staircase of the corner building create a very pleasant look in here. Not that I need to mention this, but as all modular buildings do, this one of course has the standard connection points to connect these to other buildings. Design-wise, I like how simple yet detailed both look. The shop window features a printed half-cylinder element for the glass and uses Technic connectors on the sides for texture, a technique used for the entrance door too, with the brick-built trumpet above and simple red awnings for the windows. The large window above uses the negative space of the arches for these decorative elements, and the flowers in front liven it up a bit, same for the windows above. This section here is simple but matches the overall design of the building, and I liked how these angled sections were done with pieces stuck to sideways hinges and turned inwards, and that dark blue roof is giving off some Parisian restaurant vibes. The contrast of sand green on the ground floor to white floors above works well for me, and even though it looks kinda bland on its own, it kinda helps to tone down the colorful modulars you may put against it. The furniture store with the dark nougat on the ground floor has some more prints for details, with a big sale poster and the shield above the entrance door. This gap here isn't as clean as the one seen in the other building though, which bothers me ever so slightly. But the floor above is my favorite, especially with the window design, as it looks rather minimalistic but still packs a lot of detail somehow, with nice color coordinations of the tan trimming, white and dark brown frames for the windows, a bit of foliage, and then Chinese dumpling pieces for that cute detail up there. The roof trimming has that crane for lifting or lowering heavy objects through the workshop's window, I'd assume, and above there's a little roof garden, a faucet to water the plants, and further back a pigeon coop, with a grey one next to it and a white one above the fire hydrant on the street level. There's a white cat statue here, a bit of color in the floor, and an alleyway that leads to the back of the building. This is generally a place where not much usually happens, yet there's vines crawling there, a pigeon mailbox next to a freshly delivered letter that kinda plays into the pigeon coop on the roof, and then some pipes with scotch tape down here, reason why the plumber was called, as water is leaking under the floor, which is starting to create damage inside the furniture shop. The reason for this was that the rat somehow got a piece of pipe out of its place. And since it's so outdated and really not selling, the furniture shop owner just threw a classic chair into the trash container. Talk about storytelling, right? As all modulars do, Shopping Street's floors also come apart to check the interior details. Both roofs pop out independently, so does the music store's second floor, while the first floors of both shops come off together. The ground floor is mostly a display area where you'll see a bunch of different instruments on display, a fresh new way to make Lego stairs that, although tedious, was very interesting to put together, and on the other building there's chairs on sale. An interesting detail that plays into the storytelling of the set is the differently colored pieces on the floor that hint at some of the water damage that's being caused by the water leak outside. The underside of the first floor gives us a glimpse of how crazy the geometry of this modular building is, and inside there's a few more instruments on display. In total, there's 8 different instruments and items for the marching band to use. There's the French horn, trumpet, trombone, sousaphone, drum kit, clarinet, cymbals, and a pair of batons. To the right, there's the carpenter workshop with a workbench in the corner, some different wood planks, scattered items here and there, and a wooden duck on the painting desk. A really cool nod to one of LEGO's most iconic products of their early beginnings as a woodworking toy company. Taking this chair out of the workbench and placing it next to all others for sale, it's kinda crazy to see how many variations were done at such a small scale. The very ornate one with the horn pieces and the sausage is a brilliant example of such craftsmanship. Last but not least is the carpenter's apartment, it seems, but not a whole lot going on for it due to limited space. There's still room for a bed and a couch next to the retro radio, a very cool nod to the Icon's retro radio that the designer responsible for this set also designed 2 years ago. Oh, and at the corner, in a very privileged and exposed position, comes the bathroom. Its placement is definitely weird, but in order to make it easier to access the floor well by not creating extra walls, the bathroom ended up there as explained by the designer. Not that I wholeheartedly agree with the decision, but one that from a LEGO model design perspective I can understand. To make the most out of every space the set has to offer, the small section in here was also turned into the rat's apartment, with an access point from the back and a little snack too, which is kind of funny. Overall, I like the shopping street, although there's nothing really outstanding about it. It delivers on most of the base ingredients required for a good modular building. It has prints over stickers, nice storytelling details, brings new businesses to Modular Town, and does this with interesting shaped buildings. But looking back a few years, visually speaking, it isn't as striking as the Tudor corner. It doesn't match the size impression of the museum. It definitely does not go as crazy as the Jazz Club, color choices, and while similarly looking to the boutique hotel, there's something about that one that makes it a bit more appealing to me than this. But what makes the shopping street interesting to me is that, even though by itself it isn't an incredible standalone piece when compared to previous iterations of the sub-theme, it elevates the buildings around it, making the street look so much nicer and interesting, which at the end of the day, for people who've been collecting these for a few years now, is a great ability to have. And in this economy, a 3,500 piece LEGO set being priced at $250 doesn't really get any better than this. In fact, this set has the highest piece count out of every modular building ever made, aside from the 1.5 baseplate ones like the museum and Assembly Square. Pretty darn good, all things considered. If you want to check my one-on-one interview with the designer about this set, please check this video, or if you don't care about that, check this one instead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.